Good morning, everybody. Good morning, morning, morning. Hello, Sylvia. Morning, Natasha. And yeah, excellent. As we file in, that's good. Feel free to say hi and where you're from Sweden. Sylvia, yes. Joanna from Finland. Lots of people in Europe. So it's like, yeah, 9 o'clock, isn't it? In Central Europe time. Excellent. Hello, Aaron. Good job, guys. So good to hear you. And I'm guessing um, most of you would have got the email sent. Is that right? I'm going to check in with you in a little bit, kind of see how you're going. How do you feel? Getting some feedback from you, seeing what you might need as well, like in terms of like particular practices or anything like that, that you would like as a resource on the mindfulness app as well. That'd be good. Hey, David. Hello, Charlotte, and everybody that's there. Good job, guys. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm guessing everybody that is in this webinar does know me. Obviously, one of the teachers on the Mindfulness app, and we are really, really keen to, yeah, to keep this connection going with you, to be able to have opportunities where not only are you listening and drawing on resources from the Mindfulness app, but also to have a little bit of a community. Yeah, that's what we like. And a little bit about me. I'm Reuben, the founder of Mindful Creation, as well as our nonprofit charity for young people's mental health, which is called Act On It. So I work at a large private health clinic in the Southern Hemisphere, and I'm usually in Melbourne. That's where I work, and I work using acceptance commitment therapy and designing programs for that, and working with people. And I also work in one-to-one settings in group, but also with for people with trauma. Um, and I use a therapy called EMDR. But outside of that, there are just so many insights, tools, resources that can help us in this crazy modern world we live in, right? Because it is absolutely crazy, isn't it? Like, not only are we going through things that we directly make contact with, right? So the direct things, the neighbors, the family members that kind of activate us, the work environments, the physical health things that we've got on, the lack of sleep or the stress or whatever, like lots and lots and lots of things. We're also bombarded with things from the external, like things that are outside of our direct contact, the news, the social media, and the things that can really play up for us in a way where it's just not fair on our nervous systems, right? And that's what I wanted to talk about again today, because the last live event that we had, there was a similar theme, but people found it very helpful. And yeah, that's what we want to do. So let me just check in there. Hello, Anita from London. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Good to see you. Um, yeah. So guys, like I said, my name's Reuben, and obviously one of the teachers here on the Mindfulness app. And I also am really passionate about giving people resources to help them work through whatever it is they're going through. And I want to say something to you that I'm going to come back to, which is you are part of the change that is going on in the world right now. You are part of the change that's going on in the world right now. And I mean the mindful change. And it's happening in pockets all over the place. And even though the narrative that we're spun in many, many ways, what we're bombarded with is basically that things are really bad and could be even worse, you are part of the change that's going on in the world. It just depends where we focus our attention. And when we're pulled into a narrative, whether it's the news in terms of how the news tells us things, right? It does it in a particular way that really doesn't help our nervous systems, right? And of course, there's an element of truth to certain parts of it, but it's just not fair for us. And we need to be there for ourselves. We need to check in for ourselves, with ourselves, so we can nurture ourselves, so we can change that energy within ourselves. And as a result of that, you and what we emanate outwards has a knock-on effect to the people around us as well. So much so that it's coming more and more into the limelight now, right? Joanna says, "You are my savior on my sleepless nights." Oh, bless your heart. The Solveggio series is my favorite in Drifting Away. Thank you for the comfort I have got from. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for that, Joanna. That's beautiful to know. I really appreciate that. So lovely to be able to hear from you directly like that. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to have a little check-in. We're going to inner awareness, right? Not just grounding, but actually inner awareness. Inner awareness meaning like it's also known as introception, right? Introception. The more we take attention on the inside, the better we get at it, and the more choice we have in terms of what shows up for us. And the more we do this, there's parts of our brain that actually light up for that, right? There's a part of our brain known as the insula that is responsible for that. So it's a great thing to do, and you deserve it. You deserve it. You are, as I say in my course, This Tough Life, and also the course I Choose Me First. I make reference to like you are the one person in your life that knows exactly what you have been through. So you are the one person, I am the one person in my life that knows what it's like to be me. I'm the one person in my life that knows what it's like to be me, the things that I've been through. And we hear a lot about it, and it can sound a bit cliche, but there's good intention behind it. Can we be there for ourselves? Can we talk to ourselves like we are our own best friend? And sometimes what it means is gently working with simple insights that can help us in this way, like the recognition of there's nobody else, it's me that is always here with me. I know what it's like to be me. And I am the one person that can be there for myself in any given moment if I choose to. If I choose to. So what does that mean? Yeah, be there for myself. It's like it just sounds good, doesn't it? But it's like, yeah, but what? How? When we consciously recognize, when we recognize I'm choosing to be here for myself. It's the fact that we are a conscious being having human experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations, urges, experiences inside the skin that are sometimes desirable, and quite often, due to how we've evolved, actually, how the brain has evolved, how our bodies have evolved, quite often we have undesirable human experiences, more undesirable than desirable, because of how we have evolved. The discomfort, the fear, the anxiety, the whatever it might be about this happening or that happening or whatever, right? Helped keep us sharp, helped keep us, in this survival mindset. So we were in that protection mode, like when we're activated. So when we can notice, I'm a conscious being having a human experience, I'm a conscious being that is choosing to be aware of my inner world, of what my nervous system's doing, of these difficult thoughts and feelings that I'm having, instead of being hooked and caught up in those difficult thoughts and feelings, right? Not saying that we should just push them away or try and get rid of them at all. They're normal human experiences. But if we can see our difficult thoughts and feelings instead of them telling us about what they're about, like, I just feel like I've failed, or I just feel like um, they are terrible people, or whatever it is, and I'm like this and they're like that, whatever we might be experiencing, right? When we notice that we're a little more judgmental, for instance, when the mind starts upping the ante and we notice a few more judgments, may my difficult thoughts and feelings be an indicator that I need self-care. May my difficult thoughts and feelings be an indicator to me that I need self-care. That's a nice little reframe. It's like, oh, like a weather barometer. When I'm noticing my mind getting a bit more judgy, when I'm noticing that I'm a bit more flighty or activated or flat or sad, this is an indicator to me that I need self-care. And you know what to do with that, right? Because you're here and you've got the mindfulness app and you draw on certain resources to help you. So that's why I say you are part of the change that's going on in the world right now, because lots of people either don't know about these resources or they've heard about them and they're like, oh no, that's not for me, right? But you are part of the change that's going on in the world. And we are going to have this little practice, by the way. I'm just like quite into the flow of what I'm saying right now. I promise you we're going to have this little check-in. But yeah, you're part of that, and we can fall away. Of course, we disconnect, right? We disconnect from ourselves. We disconnect and go up into our minds. We disconnect and get reactive. We disconnect and lose track of ourselves, right? Of course we do. We're only human. It's very important for us to be able to recognize, like, I've slipped up, or I've made a mistake, or I've um, said something and I really didn't want to say it like that, or I've done something and I really didn't want to do it. I said to myself I wouldn't do that again. All of that stuff, in those moments when we do slip up like that, our brain is not on our side for choosing the most effective option, choosing to act by our values. Our brain is on our side for instant gratification, or um, safety first, basically. And what happens is that in those moments when we do slip up, the brain is just like, it's not been on our side. It's not on our side for meaningful connection. It is on our side for survival. So it gets us to be reactive, right? So if we can recognize that I've slipped up and gently get back on track again, or I'm getting really caught into this story and this narrative and get back on track again, it can really help us, because there's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on for us anyway. There's something that's quite sobering that really helps me when I remember it, and I need to, is that everyone that you meet is going through something that is causing them some kind of concern. So everyone that you meet, even the people with the happy smiles and seemingly to have their life together, they're going through something that is causing them some kind of concern. And this is not to be morbid. I often say this, right? It's not to be morbid. It's actually to help unite us. It's actually to help us recognize that this is part of being human. And if there's an element of kind of softness in that, right? If there's an element of kind of shared common humanity within us, it can help us lighten the load for ourselves and connect to ourselves at a deeper level, connect to others at a deeper level. Because right here and now, this is what we need. This is why I say you're part of the change that's going on in the world right now. Yes, you might lose your practice for a few days or a week or a few weeks, and then your mind goes, oh, well, you're not part of the change. You don't really meditate like you've done it. You know, of course, but you chose to draw on these resources. You've chosen this app, right? Which meant you can't unchoose that. Like once you've done it, it's like, yeah, I'm interested in this. And it just means that, yes, there might be longer periods of time when you don't, but you've effectively said, I'm willing to be self-reflective. I'm willing to be more aware. I'm willing to work on being more resilient or more kind or more compassionate or more grounded or, you know, or more whatever, right? There's so many things could help us align with our sense of spirituality more. It could help us get through tough times more. Could help us align with what's important, like our values, right? Anyway, just checking the comments there. So there's a lot going on at the moment, and because of the way the brain has evolved, the human brain has evolved in a particular way where it will attach and absorb on the things that are scary, that are so-called negative, right? It's like this is negative. It's like, oh my God, this is being said in the news right now. Oh my God, tell me more. Why on earth would it do that? Why are we drawn to that? Because the brain needs to know the worst case, the worst case option. And then if it's not quite the worst case option, it will drum it up as though it is the worst case option because that's what the brain has evolved to do, just in case. Just in case. It's a protective mechanism. So when you notice your mind fire up in this way, or your nervous system fire up in this way, just know that it's human to respond like this. And and if you want to use it as an opportunity for your spirituality, if you like, or self-growth, if you like, both those things for me mean the same thing, right? It's an opportunity to recognize I'm a conscious being. I'm noticing this, and can I gently get back on track with myself? And one of the best things that we can do is to nurture ourselves, which is what we're going to do when we have this little practice, right? One of the best things we can do is nurture ourselves because when you take care of your inner world, the energy of that emanates outwards. And this is what Gandhi meant by be the change that you wish to see in the world. He wasn't just talking about the way we move our arms and legs and do things. He's talking about the energy. He's talking about the energy of being more grounded, less caught up in the noise, more like the eye in the hurricane. Who's done my course called This Tough Life? It's day 3, which is called it's about the metaphor of the eye in the hurricane, right? And being the calm in the storm, right? Um, so it's essential for us to be able to, it's so much fairer for us to be able to do that. And it's a test. All of these things, they test us. All of these things, whether it's some of the direct things that I was talking about earlier, the more personal things, certain family, work stuff, stress, sleep. And then there's the stuff that hasn't, it's way out there. It's in different countries that we hear about, like on the news and things like that, right? It really tests us. So the mind will go into kind of all sorts of stories, upping the ante, predicting collapse, replaying things, and fueling outrage. And so what this is about is recognizing that this happens. And my mind has generated thousands of urgent, convincing narratives as well. We're all human, right? We're all human. I promise you, just because I teach this stuff and I practice doesn't mean that it doesn't happen to me. And it can be particularly enticing when it's like, well, I've found out this and I've done a bit of research, so I feel that this is right. And then that means they're wrong. And we can get so caught up in the rightness and the wrongness. Whereas the people that have got it wrong, so to speak, they've got their own narrative and looked at the stuff as well. But one thing that does unite us is that almost everybody on the planet wants peace. Everybody on the planet, I don't know what, it would probably be 99.5% or something, right? Most of us want connection. Most of us want to unite. And by you taking care of yourself, drawing on these resources, you're doing that. And there's more science coming out with like the Heart Math Institute, like looking at the energy from the heart and how it affects in terms of what we do when we take care of ourselves in meditation and how that emanates outwards, for instance. It's amazing. It's amazing. Some of the things in quantum physics as well, that's kind of showing that actually consciousness is quite incredible. You're not as small and separate as you can, as your mind will tell you. We are not as small and separate as our minds will tell us. And I fall back, I slip back, like I said, right? I grip onto those kind of truths sometimes. Like I believe it's a truth. It's like this is how it is. My body tightens, my heart races, I disconnect. We all disconnect. And then the mind will go, yeah, well, you're not really part of the change. You keep reacting. It's like, but you are, because we're supposed to disconnect so that we can reconnect. It's one of the main phrases that I kind of use to remind us, one of these simple, very simple insights in some of my courses as well, right? It's like uh, affirmations for my soul, right? That's definitely one of them where it is. It's like I disconnect so that I can reconnect. When I disconnect, it might be just getting caught in distraction, but it might be disconnecting from myself. It might be disconnecting from what I really want to be doing and getting caught up in patterns of behavior that don't serve me. This is part of being human. Can I recognize when I do slip up and gently get back on track again? Can I recognize when I do have that fallout with people that have different opinions to me and gently get back on track again, whether there's some kind of resolve there or not? Maybe it's not right for a resolve, but can I come back to myself? And this is what is meant by, like, like I said, being the change that we wish to see in the world. And there's lots of mindful change going on in the world right now. As I finish my live events, I almost always say there's a positive change going on in the world, right? Or there's a mindful change going on in the world. It just depends where we focus our attention. It just depends where we focus our attention. The default mode will be going down that alleyway that doesn't serve your nervous system. Protection mode, activation, distracted, flighty, not connected. When we're activated like that, you could say we are in protection mode. We're not in connection mode. We can't experience meaningful connection when we're in protection mode. We can't expect, it's like connection or protection. Now, obviously, it's not as simple as just on or off like that, but that can be a helpful reminder. Check in with yourself. Am I in connection mode or am I in protection mode right now? And if you notice a sense of activation in your nervous system, what can I do about that? Do any of you have any specifics? We've got some stuff on the Mindfulness app like nervous system reset, nervous system restore, some tracks like that use something as simple as the breath, but a particular strategy to help really down regulate the nervous system. Does anyone have any tracks that really help them? Feel free, if you do, to share those there. So as I said, right, I disconnect as well, right? I need to say that it helps me teach, just to to share my humanness as well. I haven't got it. Like some days it's like it's hard, right? It's hard. It's not, it's it's not like because I teach this stuff and I write the courses that you listen to and things that my life is a bed of roses and things are fine because I'm just open and receptive and I don't react. Of course I have my reactions. Just letting you know that I'm human as well, in case you wondered. Um, yeah. So when I notice I am a conscious being having a human experience. If you like, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. They both mean the same thing. Some of them you'll be more connected to than others. I'm a conscious being having a human experience. Or I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. It helps us come back to ourselves in that moment. And in that moment, there's a little bit of space. And that little bit of space is sacred, even though it can feel a little uncomfortable. This is me recognizing. This is me disengaging from the automatic. This is me disengaging from the default mode of going down that again. And in that moment, it is a win, even though it feels uncomfortable. This is me recognizing that I need some self-care. And in the moment I do that, the energy kind of changes. Maybe it changed when I say kind of, maybe it's subtle, maybe it can be quite significant sometimes. The energy and how you relate to yourself. There's using the breath as an anchor, maybe, and there's choice again. There's choice again. So, yes, sometimes it can be really, really hard. I just wanted to put that out there. And I'm also happy to tie in anything that you would like me to bring to this as we've been talking, or if there's something that you like in a particular track that you've listened to on the Mindfulness app that you're like, hey, I like this, can you bring this to it? And I can pop that in. I do want to say before we start as well as the pain that we feel about the state of the world says something incredible about you. It says that you're a living, caring human being. You're a living, caring human being. You value peace, you value safety, you value humanity, you value connection. Living, caring human being. It's nice to remind yourself of that. Conscious being having a human experience, a conscious, living, caring human being having a human experience. Yeah. So just recognize the way that the catastrophizing can pull us and divide us as though we need to, yeah, like they're the absolute truth. Whereas actually, isn't it more like this? Like our truth is the space in between our thoughts, right? That's our actual truth. As soon as we're hooked with a thought, we've got a narrative. And of course, thoughts can help us to plan, to create, to, yeah, help us make things in the world and help us get by in the world. But it also does a lot of separating. Yeah. So, yes, this is how we can be part of the change, bit by bit, moment by moment, especially when we recognize we've slipped up or we've reacted or we got caught up in that argument that we said we wouldn't, or we're super stressed and we yelled at the kids or what or whatever, or mum or dad or brothers, sisters, family. Yeah, family. They're enough, aren't they? Right? We all have our activations from certain family members, right? Most of us do anyway. So, yeah, even when you recognize afterwards, I've slipped up. Can I gently get back on track again? You're making a win out of the so-called loss of reacting. You're making a win out of it because you're gently getting back on track again. You're rewiring yourself to get back on track again, gently. Yes, please. Hello, Frida. At the moment, I feel very disconnected. I have a very bad back pain. I cannot walk. Do you have anything about physical pain? Thank you. I don't have anything. It's so I don't have anything specifically. It's not an area that I'm an expert in, but I have had a lot of people who indirectly have benefited from being in a like because I most of the meditations that I do with people are in a group setting, and there's been some amazing benefits that they've had. People tend to, so thank you, Frida. I appreciate that. I'll drop something in this practice, and I do hope that by letting go and dropping into it, that there it offers you some kind of relief. I really do. Yeah. Linda says, people tell me I care too much. How can I handle that? Recognizing that there's such a big reference point. There's such a big reference point sometimes. We can get caught up in being like, oh, people will say like, oh, you're overly sensitive. Why are you like that? And and sometimes it's that we've, especially getting into this work, right? The more we kind of come into ourselves, we find that there's even more of a gap between what they're suggesting, right? It's like there's even more of a gap between where we are to where we want to be. Because how do I say this? There's a bigger gap because of the work that you're doing, and then people who are not into this and doing this and drawing on these resources then kind of look at it and go, oh well, you're reacting quite strongly. The other thing is like whether or not sometimes it can be really helpful, and sometimes the people in our lives can actually help us, even if they might not even be our friends. Like some of that information could potentially help us, but it's whether or not do you find that yourself, Linda? Do you actually find that yourself? Is that true in your life, or do you find that it's an experience where you feel very compassionate, very empathic, very connected to people? And yes, sometimes that might take your energy more so at times, but we also need people in life. We need people in the world that do care more than the baseline, because there are a hell of a lot of people that are the other way as well. So you're part of this beautiful spectrum, Linda. And some of those people that are saying this to you, maybe there's an element of truth to it. And if there is, and you're willing to look at that, then maybe you can work with that tendency in those moments to recognize that the caring shows that you're a very aware, deeply aware, a deeply conscious being having human experiences. And there's a yin and the yang of everything. There's a yin and the yang of everything. So there are benefits, right? There are benefits to that. And there's obviously setbacks as well. That's what I would say about that. Sylvia says, thank you for, I'm just going to catch up with the rest of you guys. Thank you for the link between breath and choice. Could you say a few more words about your nervous system with relation to this and our access to it? Yep. Thank you very much, Reuben, for these helpful sessions. You're very welcome, Edith. I'm just going to read everyone's message. What can we do for anger management, as we very often regret later, particularly with people we love? Yeah. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Linda. Linda said, yeah, I care deeply about my students and not just like products. Some of them come closer as I work with people with ADHD and autism. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Well, you are a gift. You are a gift. And people have different reference points of comparison. And if you can go into the world with this gift in a way where it doesn't take too much of your energy, where you are getting depleted, right? That where you are getting depleted to a level that doesn't become sustainable, where you are willing to kind of go with the yin and the yang, then these people that you're working with need you. They need you. And what might it be like in those moments, Linda, to take some micro moments out in your day, some micro moments, like just 4 or 5 little micro moments in between seeing these people, and just come back to yourself with a bit of validating self-talk. Or if you're a spiritual person, some prayer, right? And just recognize, this is me. I have gifts and I feel deeply. And this also is beneficial for some people, although sometimes not for me, and sometimes it can maybe even not be beneficial for others if I my energy levels really drop. So I'm going to give myself this validating self-talk. I'm going to have these little micro moments where I realign, where I reset myself with my intentions, because every time you do that, you're rewiring yourself, you're resetting that. Yes. We're going to have a little track in a bit. Okay, so we need to talk about, so Sylvia said about the nervous system. Yes, definitely. Um, Break up with someone who is depressed, lost all hope. Okay, so Karen says, as you can see that there, Karen, like about tips to navigate periods going through a breakup with someone who is depressed, lost all hope and is in defensive mode. I feel stuck between grieving and hoping to reconnect. Okay, so this is just what I would say in terms of this. The decision has been made. Your future self will be ready to make any decisions that are necessary. But right now, this last little bit you said, I feel stuck between grieving and hoping to reconnect. Let your future self know when you may reconnect. Let this person, even though this is going to sound, I don't know how it sounds, but we need to honor time. This decision sounds like a final decision, and so therefore we need to honor the time and honor what the universe is doing and put it up to the universe, even though this person's going through a really tough time. And when you do not allow yourself to grieve, but also when you say hoping to reconnect, come back to yourself with validating self-talk, or if you're a spiritual person, use prayer. They're kind of very similar, by the way. Um, in terms of like validating self-talk, like giving yourself that self-talk and saying to yourself, you know what? I'm noticing that like you say, you're grieving and hoping to reconnect. I can, I trust that I will reconnect when the time is right, but the time is not right now because that person's in defensive mode. Like there's your evidence. There's your evidence to let things be. Come back to yourself, come back to the grieving. It's really hard, especially when you're the one that's made the decision, it sounds like, right? You're the one that's actually made decisions. Sometimes that can be even harder because of the guilt and stuff. Victoria said, as I wrote in the previous note, I feel very tired and exhausted at the moment. I missed that bit. Floating around like a roller coaster, grief, disappointment, sorrows, then being gaslighted while addressing it. So pure joy and laughter and support from my dear old mother and my best female friend. Oh, lovely. To pure joy and laughter and support. That's lovely. That shows the contrast, doesn't it, Victoria? Sometimes there's such a contrast, right? Yeah. All right, we're going to have our practice, but I do want to just touch in on what Sylvia says. So about more words about our nervous system with relation to this. Okay, so very quickly, we are, when I was talking about some of these things, right? Even the stuff that we're not in close proximity to, the things we pick up on TV, the things that the news and all of this stuff, right? We're bombarded with stuff. We are even the dreams that we have, right? We wake up in the morning. Who can relate to that? Just feeling off, feeling icky, feeling activated, right? The nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. I prefer to just keep it more simple and say the the sympathetic nervous systems when we go up regulated into fight or flight and also freeze, but we'll just keep it at fight or flight for the time being. Up-regulated, prepared, guarded, high energy, anxious, fearful, right? Up-regulated. And then the nervous system's doing one of two things. It's either up-regulating or it's down-regulating, right? Even as I'm speaking to you now, microscopically, my nervous system will be kind of up-regulating a little bit to say the next thing, to be enthusiastic about what I'm saying, and then and then it will down-regulate again. Okay, so it's doing one of two things. when it's upregulated, we're going into protection mode. When we're in protection mode, our nervous system is so upregulated that we are not able to experience meaningful connection. Meaningful connection, right? So it's like, if you like, it's our brain. It's like this is here, this is the part of our brain that is reactive for the stress and the anxiety and the fight or flight. Here it is, the thumb in there. And then we've got the part of our brain that comes online here, the cortex, which means bark of like a bark of a tree. This comes online here. And this is what down regulates, gets us into a place of being grounded, connected, um, more aware, right? And so it's like up-regulated, boom, and then down-regulated, if you like. Protection mode kicks in. If somebody shouts at you, right, it's like bing, you flip your lid. This part of the brain, the cortex, goes offline. Like this is very, very simple, by the way. It's not quite like this. The neuroscientist would be going, hey, it's, but this is coming from a neuroscientist and he's simplified it, right? So upregulated and then down-regulated. When you have a nervous system reset, you're down-regulating your nervous system. You're coming back online to be able to then experience moments of connection, meaningful connection that you actually deserve. So there are tracks for that. There are tracks for that here on the Mindfulness app, the nervous system reset. We're going to have our practice very, very, very shortly, guys. Let me just have a little looky here. Yeah. Is there anything specific else that you would like, guys? Let me know. Because what you can do here is if you go to the Mindfulness app and then you go to search, let's just type in nervous system. So we're just typing in nervous system, okay? And there you go. You've got a whole heap of them there. Me first, nervous system regulation, soothing the nervous system. Um, Actually, there's a heck of a lot of my stuff there. Oh, we've got some other people there as well. That's good. Yeah. So stuff for soothing the nervous system. If you're going through a tough time, I'm just typing in this tough life. That's a course there. This tough life. Yeah. Yeah. And if there's anything else, you can let me know at the end. We're going to have our practice right now. Are you going to Holy Mass? Thank you, Victoria. Okay, guys, thank you for all of your comments there. Let's have a little practice. What we want to do is have a little bit of introception and get grounded, a little bit of relaxation. And yes, allow yourself to rest. You deserve this. Treat this moment as not something that's like just one practice, but like lots of little experiments, lots of little things that I'm going to guide you towards. Some of these things you're going to resonate with, some of them you're not. And this is you learning about yourself. So it's very important. So close your eyes if you wish to, or you can hold a soft gaze on something in front of you. Taking a deep breath in through your nose, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale, relax. One more time, in breath through the nose, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale, relax. Choosing to be here now. I'm choosing this moment. I'm here in this live event, in this webinar. Didn't happen by accident. I've come here for a reason. I've come here for my own well-being. Taking a moment to just gently Notice what this morning already, before you came to this live event, the actions that you took leading you up to this moment right now. And recognizing that right here is a moment where there's a certain quality to this because you are engaging with yourself. Noticing the mind, whether it's busy or not so busy or somewhere in between. And when you get a sense of that, like sometimes the mind goes like quiet, right? But just wait until something appears. And when you get a sense of that, see what this is like. Notice what your mind's doing. Is it showing you things in pictures or telling you things in words? So pictures, words, or maybe a bit of both. And maybe there's a ratio. See if you can get a sense of that. This is really great to be able to like have this space of observing, of noticing our thoughts. So what's the ratio? Is it more pictures or is it more streams of words for you? Not to get too fixated on the numbers, just a general idea. And then getting a sense of where your thoughts appear. This might sound a little different, but do they appear in front of you or do they appear to the side? Where are they located, these pictures and words? And then allowing your awareness to drop down below the level of thought, just getting a sense of this place where you experience feelings and emotions, just getting a sense. Energies in motion without trying to feel anything, without needing to feel anything. What's it like to just place soft awareness on this place where you usually do feel? Okay, so what we're going to do now is do some stuff to help soothe the nervous system, or in other words, down regulate it. And this is really effective and also still helpful, even if we already feel calm and connected. The more you practice this, the more you grow that capacity to do it. So, as requested earlier, what's it like to just start becoming aware of your breathing? And as each breath takes place, using the words in breath and out breath, and getting these two words, in breath, out breath, perfectly in time with the waves of your breath. And if you're a visual person, maybe you can see these words, or maybe you just want to hear them. This is just a stepping stone to where we're going, because the breath is quite incredible. The breath is a bridge from where we are tense, maybe uptight, nervous system upregulated, overly distracted. It's a bridge from here to down-regulated nervous system, connected, grounded. And the only thing that stops us from experiencing this down-regulation is when we don't be gentle with ourselves, or we just buy into the thoughts that say, hey, not today. It's not going to work. It will work with gentle persistence. What's that like to know? If you can embody this recognition that I am here for me, I'm choosing to be gentle, I'm choosing gentle persistence. I'm holding my body lightly as I work with the breath, in breath, out breath. What might it be like to even just pop a little half smile, like a Mona Lisa smile, not forced, just gentle. The physiology of this gently affecting our nervous system in a kind way. Maybe it shifts something. Maybe you notice yourself soften a little more. Nothing forced, even a quarter smile. Parts of the brain don't know the difference between just a tiny, wincy little smile compared to a full, big one. And for those of you that have done my course, This Tough Life, there's a practice on here that is about softening the out breath. So as you've been resting in this moment, your breathing has been continuing its cycle. Gently committing to this, knowing that every further minute you practice this for, this is actually nurturing you and helping you for future moments. Taking attention to the out breath, focusing on just the out breath. If you notice the in breath as well, that's fine, but this is just the focus on the out breath from start to finish. And when you get a sense of that, when you're ready, you're just softening this. In other words, you're gently lengthening the out breath just a touch, nothing forced, maybe 10% or 20%, not to get too caught up in the numbers. This is soothing. This is healing. Just getting into this out breath. Every time you connect to the out breath and soften it, the repetition of this is just like when you stroke a cat that loves to be stroked. You're basically doing the same to your nervous system. So it's out breath and soften just a touch, or lengthen just a touch. And then the in breath happens, and then we're back again with the softening of the out breath. And just like a cat likes to be stroked, so does your nervous system. And cats don't like to be stroked just once, do they? They want it many times over. And if we want to get into connection mode, this is the bridge that I was talking about. Softening of the out breath, building that bridge to feeling more connected, down regulated. You deserve this. Every time you notice distraction, it's a win, because noticing distraction means that you've noticed it. It's a moment of mindfulness. And yet the mind will come in and go, no, you've got distracted. So noticing distraction is a win, not a moment of failure. What might it be like to just give a little half smile to that? A little half smile to any distraction that pulls you away, knowing that the gentle persistence that you give back to yourself is what is healing your body. And actually, this is something to add as well that I haven't said today. By down regulating your nervous system like this, by dropping into this practice, your body's going into a place of rest, restoration, healing. You deserve this. And despite what the mind says, we don't need to be concerned with any thoughts whilst we take part in this practice. So here's the thing. This is not about being with the out breath, softening it, lengthening it gently, and not having thoughts. It's about being with the out breath, softening it gently, lengthening the out breath just subtly, and having all thoughts come and go in their own time. Because whilst you are with the breath, you cannot be distracted. Yes, you can have thoughts, but they're coming and going, they're fleeting thoughts. And this is an important yet very simple insight for meditation that can really help us. Distraction is a win. Even if I keep getting distracted, can I just maybe notice the thought that distracted me and give it 3 or 4 seconds of my attention because it's calling me? And then, with a gentle half smile, come back to the softness of your out breath. The softness of my breath. My breath. Can my breath be everything right now? The world around me in this room that I'm in right now, just gently unfolding as it does. Very soon I'm going to go about my day, but right here and now, this is a gift for myself, from myself, with myself. So, as we start to come towards the end of this, just that reminder that you're part of the change. And however your experience was, I get it. There'll be some of you that will say, oh, that was great. It's really grounding. I feel very connected. But sometimes it doesn't work like that, right? So I just wanted to acknowledge that if today is one of those days for you where the meditation hasn't gone how you would have liked it, yeah, just acknowledging that. Can I be okay with that? Because it happens to me as well, right? Sometimes it's quite predictable. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to be a bit distracted today, right? And then sometimes it's very unpredictable. I think that I'm going to have a practice that I drop into, get grounded and connected, and the complete opposite happens, right? Some days it's just like that. Having said that, I do hope that this has given you a sense of being more grounded and connected, because this is the experience of being part of the change. This is the experience of you being the change that we wish to see in the world. Taking care of your inner world has a knock-on effect to the outer world. Yes. So, guys, if you wish to, feel free to open your eyes. Um, if not, you can stay as you are. Um, but yeah, feel free to comment if there's any experiences that you had or anything that you'd like to say. We've covered a lot today, but it's all a simple message, isn't it? It's all a simple message. And the beautiful thing is this is something that you know already. Yeah, deep down you kind of know this already. It's not like I'm teaching you anything new. There might be different ways in terms of how I'm explaining things, but ultimately you know what I'm talking about because you have had that experience and you have that experience of the change that goes on in your inner world on a day-to-day basis. Ah, Charlotte, she says, I feel blessed. That is beautiful. You deserve it. Why can't I heart that? It's not letting me heart it. It's just saying copy or delete. Hmm. I'd like some hearts. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But anyway, that's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you, Charlotte. Any other comments from you guys or any questions in terms of what you might need? Um, in terms of that phrase that I mentioned earlier about disconnecting and reconnecting, for those people that might like it, there's um, affirmations for my soul. You can just type that in the search. That's like a 5-day course that you might like. It's very relevant to what I've been talking about. Sylvia says, thank you so much. Also for your beautiful sessions on the mindfulness app. Oh, you're very welcome. Oh, that's great, Karen. That's beautiful. You weren't able to meditate for a while. Yeah, sometimes we just need something to help us reset, right? Sometimes we just need something like this. I run a deepening mindfulness group in Melbourne and for the clinic that I work at. And yeah, people find that it just helps that it starts that again. It starts that off again. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I want to remind you that you are a conscious being having a human experience. Remember that. Take care of yourself. Um, actually, in terms of that, I've been mentioning a bit about um, I've been mentioning a bit about validating self-talk. So here in the search on the mindfulness app, I've typed in when self-talk, right? Because you might like, hang on, where is it? When self. You might like that. When self-talk is medicine. It's a short 5-day track. It's hyphenated. That's why it didn't come up. But this can be very powerful because ultimately what it's about is disconnecting from the automatic self-talk, which is not your fault. It just happens. to reconnect with validating self-talk, which is you connecting to a deeper sense of self. You're choosing intentionally that validating self-talk. It's very important because we can get so caught up in the narrative about, oh, my self-talk's terrible. This is, I just talk to myself really badly. It's actually, it's happening to you. It's automatic. It's not your fault. It's how we're programmed, how we're wired. So yeah. Linda says, thank you. The distraction and thoughts are there, but suddenly my black movements behind my eyes goes great. And that's when I'm totally relaxed. Oh, that's good. Thank you for sharing that, Linda. Thank you, Natasha. I'm an anchor in your daily life. I love hearing that. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate that. We really do. Keep in touch with us on the email thread as well, at the Mindfulness app. But yeah, anyway, remember there's a mindful change going on in the world right now. And it's happening all over the world, like it's happening now. It just depends where we focus our attention. And you've been here focusing on it. So have a really lovely day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your precious time with me. I hope you have a lovely Sunday. I don't know what the weather's like in Europe right now, but I do wish you well. And yeah, um, remember that we disconnect so that we can reconnect, right? And that's part of this. That's part of this. So thank you guys. Namaste, and I will see you next time. Namaste, guys.